The question is, a patient who weighs 15 kg has been prescribed 44 mg per kg per day of the Keflex to be given TDS or 3 times a day. And the question is asking you, how many mils or milliliters would you administer per dose? Remember, here it's per dose, but the recommended dose is per day. And the stock available is 250 mg in every 5 mils. So what we could do for this question is to say and start working on what we got. So the weight of the patient is 15 kilos. The recommended dose as per the doctor's or the drug book is 44 mg per kg per day. So that's the maximum is the patient is having per day. So for this question, we could use one of the formula. We'll say formula number 1, which normally is the dose to be given is equal to recommended dose times the weight. And because we got these numbers, we can move ahead and say the recommended dose is 44 mg per kg per day times 15 kilos. Because we got a kg there and a kg, this will cancel. Then when you do your calculation here, what you end up is 660 mg per day. Remember, you're required to give this TDS 3 times a day. So if you're required to give this 3 times a day, we could say per dose is equal to 660 mg divided by 3, and the 3 is from the TDS. And then when you do your calculation here, your answer should be, divided by that, should be 220 mg per dose. And that's what you need per dose. Remember, this one is in mg, but your question is asking you the volume or the milliliters. So what we need to do at this point is we'll go to formula number 2, because this question of weight-based will need 2 formulas to work through it. So formula number 2 here is the dose to be given is equal to the stock required, or what we call the SR, divided by the stock available or the stock strength, which is the SS, then times the volume. What do we know at this point? We know very well that this will be our stock required because we've done the calculation there. And also we know that, so we can start saying that the stock required is equal to 220 mg, and our stock strength for this one is 250 mg, and the 250 comes from there. Or if I was to use, that's a 250 that we are using, and the 5 mils will be our volume. So that's the 250, and the volume that we got should be 5 mils, because every 250 mg is in 5 mils. This is just a bigger picture of the 250 mg in every 5 mils. So the next step is just to put our information into this formula that we got here. It's just to feed the information. So what we need to do is, again, we could quickly say the dose is equal to the stock required divided by the SS times the volume, or what we call sunrise over sunset times volume. And if you are to put the details there, we need to have 220 mg divided by 250 mg times volume, which is 5 mils. And mg and mg will cancel. And then if you were to use your calculators at this point, you end up with 4.4 milliliters. and this becomes your answer or becomes your volume that needs to be administered as per the question. How many milliliters would you administer per dose? So it should be 4.4 mils. And you could counter check your answer by looking at 250 mg is in every 5 mils, but we're only giving 220, so it should be less than 5 mils.